Good. Let's roll.
Yeah. Sweet, baby.
So, we're going to get to know each other a little bit today.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing here. If you had to choose one of your senses to live without, which one would it be?
We were kind of talking about this earlier. I think taste is a good option, just because I want all my other senses. I think being blind would probably be the worst. Right?
Being blind would be worse than having no sense of touch. That'd be tough.
That's hard, yeah.
But blind,
But
you have
blind,
to
you
rethink
can't-
your whole career.
No, that's just your pitch. I'm like the blind style guide.
All right.
Blindstyle.com.
Well, I love food, so definitely not taste. I think maybe smell. Even though, like, steak, you think it tastes, but it's actually smell. So I think I'd go with that. I never have to smell any farts again, so...
If you could choose which sense your wife loses,
That's a different question. Tanner.
I probably smell too for all those same reasons. Although I do love the sweet, pungent smell of relief, so...
yeah, I'd give up taste for sure and just eat more vegetables.
One way to do it, right?
Yeah.
I like the taste of green.
I'm sure there's probably somebody somewhere who's done that, where they're just like, doctor, scrape off my taste buds. I want to eat healthy for the rest of my life. I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to think about that one.
I would be Michael Weston from Burn Notice.
Okay. All right.
This is a show that I know it's not a great show. But it's got Bruce Campbell in it. I mean, it's intentionally campy and kind of dopey, and I think it would be awesome to be Michael Weston from Burn Notice. I would be a killer spy. It would be awesome.
For the record, Tanner has talked about Burn Notice several times.
It's ridiculous, right? Like ridiculous. But my wife and I are going through this for like the 5th time now, and so that's just kind of where my mind is.
Another great one would be Neil Caffrey from like...
right. Yep.
That'd be fun too.
I think maybe like Michael Douglas in The Game. But having that thrill. I mean, that would be amazing. I think for the first time. But,
Also Batman.
Oh yeah. Well,
Right?
which Batman though? I mean.
Oh, definitely like George Clooney.
Oh, Clooney.
No, I'm kidding.
another.
Jump cut. Tanner's out of the video.
Or maybe like I think Thomas Crown.
Yeah.
That would be it for me. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defaults are like Bond or Indiana Jones or Captain America or somebody else, and obviously but Thomas Crown, I guess there's just a little bit more believability to something like that. Yeah.
And I like the second version more than the first one. A lot of people are like the Steve McQueen one was cooler.
I like the second one too.
I'm more like the Pierce Brosnan one. I personally like more.
I actually liked Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. I know it's like terrible. I like him as an actor.
The movies were bad, but Brosnan was a good Bond.
He was a good fit for it. Yeah.
Boy,
I'm glad everybody has to think about this one a little bit.
Get away with the crime. Yeah. I mean, is it like what the crime would most likely be?
I guess what would you? I mean, would it be robbing a bank? Would it be a heist?
Yeah, I like.
Would you kill a man?
I think I'd like more the smart crime. Having a nice little setup. Maybe like Thomas Crown. Setting something up and getting some art.
So heist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be my kind of crime. And how would I do it? Boy, set up a game plan and try to be very sneaky.
Some Filipinos, maybe?
No, maybe.
I'd outsource it. Yeah.
I would just say that most days dressing as well as I do is a crime, and I get away with it.
Nice dad joke, Tanner.
No, I don't know what I would do. Yeah, maybe a heist, but I mean, are you really trying to? Is it because you I have to get away with something? What crime would be the most enjoyable to commit?
Yeah.
Or I think a heist would be the win on that then. Working with a really cool team of guys and everybody specialized in something and it's all that coordination and everything else, that would be...
Some Ocean's 11
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We already have the crew. I mean,
right, there you go.
We got the suits, Yeah, I would do something like heisty, but then take something that a lot of people really like and then just never... and then just store it somewhere and never say anything about it. Some piece of art, some really obscure piece of art, a bunch of people go to see. I just take it and just lock it away somewhere.
Yeah, nobody gets it. Nobody. Nope. Yoink.
Oh, I think social skills and being able to kind of surround you with great people. Because if you're in for a long ride, it can get pretty boring. If you're the only one and all the others kind of disappear, you kind of have to learn how to make new friends. Otherwise, you'll get lonely.
Yeah.
There's a great event I heard of called The Art of Charm. It talks a lot about social skills.
Yes, they can teach them to you.
You don't need an eternity.
Sign up for this awesome place.
Sponsored by The Art of Charm.
.com.
Yeah, we're at our Charm headquarters in LA.
I think I would probably I'd pick like a few like actual just like really specific skills and just be like, all right, next 50 years, classical piano. Like 50 years after that,
So that's like Groundhog Day
hardcore.
style.
Yeah, I do Groundhog Day exactly.
Or like, what's the Brothers Bloom with the girl where she basically like collects hobbies? Because have you guys not seen that?
No.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. Anyway,
So I'm
it's
putting
lost.
Burn Notice and Brothers Bloom on Netflix.
No more Burn Notice.
I'm gonna go with Barraon on this one.
These are hard questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like physical items, you'd say?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, you can't have a good attitude.
How about internet?
Yeah, can you cheat like Kindle?
Yeah, I guess you could take a Kindle,
Okay,
but I mean, it'll run out of batteries.
Let's clarify further. Are you trying to get off the desert island? Or like this is where you are now existing?
I guess that's up to you. I mean, yeah, I guess you could
What do you
take
wanna
like
do?
a rowboat or something. Like,
Right? I mean, because I think that's kind of the easy answer. It's like, I will take a speedboat and a year's worth of food and a GPS system. And it's like, I'm out of there. And just in case I'm not, I'm set.
yeah, satellite phone.
Right.
Yeah.
What if it's like you have to full on survive style and you don't get all the amenities? I know I want that. I don't know what else.
I mean, I know it's not a thing, but I'd bring my wife because I want someone there. Like being on your own, I think,
Yeah.
would be the hardest part.
Yeah, definitely.
This man's got the right answers. I'd probably bring my Thursday boots because I don't leave.
Oh my gosh! I would, yeah, like the original Boy Scout handbook or something, where you've got all the skills like right there that you can you can draw off of, or yeah, something like
survivalist skills. I think,
Yeah.
like someone like Ron Mickler would probably do best.
definitely orderband.com.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right.
wait. Let's set a different question here. If you could be an animal, what would it be and why?
I would definitely be some sort of bird, probably like a bird of prey, because flight. I mean, you'd have to give to flight. So
That's really awesome. Good eyesight.
yeah, great. Yeah, like a falcon or something. The only problem is then you gotta like catch your own food, which kind of sucks. But I think it'd be worth it to fly.
What would you
Some sort of like apex predator, right? Like just so you survive the longest.
Yeah, but it would have to be something that also a dolphin's a good one, because like being a wolf would suck or a lion would suck, because basically as soon as you cease to be functional within the pack, you're out. And so you would want something that's a little less cutthroat and a little bit more social and cohesive. Mm-hmm. But dolphins, like, well, what man wants to be I'm going to be a dolphin.
Hey, you want to talk about that?
I mean, they're really smart animals.
No, they're super smart.
They're smart and
yeah.
they have the social component, but like I like
Killer whale.
Yeah.
Killer whale. There you go.
All right,
Moby.
good compromise.
Yeah, Moby Dick.
All right.
Do you have one?
Hard to, I mean, I like the fox in the sense, you know, he's kind of sneaky and smart, but I don't like the loneliness aspect of the fox.
Yeah.
That's hard. Maybe like a big brown bear.
Okay. Yeah. They don't have any predators.
This is true.
So it wouldn't be Batman because he didn't have the superpowers really. So it wouldn't be Hulk because I don't like that look necessarily.
You're not angry all the time.
Yeah, maybe Superman. I think that would be good.
Because he's got it all.
Exactly. Why pick?
Probably just because he was I was not huge into comics, but Spider-Man was always my favorite growing up, and that's a good enough set of powers that you can do some real damage and but at the same time, it's not so far gone that you can't lead a normal life and get close to people and do all those other things too. Being the Hulk would suck.
Yeah, it'd be inconvenient.
And honestly, even dealing with like the immortality of being a Superman or somebody else would kind of suck too, because then you would just watch your family and your friends and your kids and everybody else keep passing on without you having I'd be Spider-Man.
It'll get old over time.
Yeah, I'd be Spider-Man.
Burn?
I think for individual superpower, I would probably say like teleportation. Just to be able to go
That is
somewhere
awesome, yeah.
instantly.
Imagine if you were just home
Yeah.
right now.
That'd
Yeah,
be 6 hours of flying.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty
no,
great.
for it.
As a kid, I always thought it would be cool to kind of go to the future and see what's happening. Like now, I'm more like, wow, I'd like to know what it was like in the 13th century. Like
Yeah.
how was it for you guys? Like
Yeah.
more like Back to the Future.
That's funny because the next question was if you could travel, would you go
Oh,
to the
really?
past or the future?
Fast.
Past.
Yeah.
I'd go to the future. Like I just want to see.
But that's only like 10 years from now, and then it's over.
That's true. But imagine like even just like I wouldn't go to like the crazy like thousands of years future. I would go to like 100 years from now just to
It'd be
see.
intense.
Like so, when I was a kid, like I really thought we'd have a hoverboard by now.
Right?
Right.
And we
so
don't.
would you steal the sports almanac and come back and start Biffville
Yeah,
or whatever it was?
Obviously.
See,
That's going to be wasted on all you young viewers, but that's a funny joke.
See, when it goes
Show your dad.
If you go to the past, you can just change things, and change the outcome of the future. I mean, I think a lot of people say, hey, I'd go back and put like a drug in Hitler's birth town's water so he wouldn't, wouldn't happen. But then maybe someone else would have come up like, would have been way
Butterfly
worse.
effect,
Right? I mean, you
yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole historical theory about that, like whether it's people who drive events or it's the events that kind of create the need for this person to fill a vacuum, and if it weren't Hitler, it would have just been somebody else doing the exact same thing.
Slap bracelets. Right?
Yeah.
Really?
You have one of those?
Yeah. Election.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister had them, but yeah. I'd like to have basically dinner parties come back because I think it's just an art that in our generation a lot of people have just not grown up with.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, let's meet at the bar. I always find being in your own home and cooking a meal just connects you more, and you can have all your favorite liquor and your favorite drink.
Right.
I think that's the best, and I would wish that more people would be kind of into that.
That's good.
I miss the kind of innocent hokiness of media from the 80s and the 90s. Like, not everything was dark and desaturated and gritty and everything had to be super... Like, the Power Rangers remake, it's like, that's not the Power Rangers. It's not like this raw, gritty... Like, it's stupid and fun and campy, and maybe... obviously, that's, like, nostalgia from my time as a kid, but when things were a little bit more innocent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's not a fad.
I think I don't know if like a fad or like a more like a toy. Remember Pogs?
Yeah.
I like.
What was it?
You had a
it was-
killer
it was
slammer
like
collection,
these-
didn't you?
Yeah, I invested like a decent amount of time and money in that slammer collection, and then it just they're worth not. I remember going to like TJ Maxx or something and seeing like the buckets of Pogs, and they were like a penny each, and I was
Yep.
like, damn it.
Dude,
This is a bad investment. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I'm
Bad
serious.
investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Let's see.
Upper deck trading cards. Got the same style, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, the trading cards. Like I remember, I collected X-Men cards, and I have like entire series. They kind of had like seasons. So I had series. I had like series 2 of X-Men cards. And I remember I was convinced that one day that would be worth a lot of money, and I don't think it is.
Probably
I don't
not.
know. Maybe it is.
Probably.
It can be, I guess, someone you actually know or someone you don't know.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting that we all hesitate with this one because hero worship used to be something that was so normal, and I think for our generation, it's not something that we deal with as much because it's not necessarily one particular person who exemplifies all the things that you want to be and all the things that you want to be a part of, where we more look up to and idealize ideals or accomplishments or other things as opposed to it being one individual person.
I think
I'm stalling.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with all that,
I agree
but I'm
with that.
stalling.
You guys?
I agree with that. Like it's hard to say. Like I can't really think of one specific person. When I think of like qualities that I like of like all of us, you guys, like people I've looked up to in the past, it's like it's not like one specific person that kind of embodies everything, but you just kind of pull from where you want to learn from.
Yeah. I'm not a worshiper. Kind of when I see celebrities, I don't want to say hi. I just want to let them live in peace. One thing that I look up to though is someone like Muhammad Ali, who uses his status to kind of not just enrich his own life, but try to kind of create a movement of some sort. It's I think that's admirable. Having being who you are and then trying to make a change. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation,
right?
Whatever it is, I think that's pretty cool. Because you could just say, hey, I'm gonna have a good life and enjoy.
Spend my billions.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you like that whole concept in general, or do you like it only if you're kind of in favor of the movement that the person's trying to get started?
No, I mean in general, I think it's just a good cause.
Just kind of liking Trump.
He worked it.
Is it to the death?
No, let's say like MMA style, like knockdown, knockout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. George Washington.
Ooh. Why?
Because he's actually okay. I think if I were to go back to the hero question, he's one who would be really close, like really high up there, and just the ability to like I know that there's no way I would win that fight, but just the ability to be in proximity and to test yourself against something that you hold to such a high standard, I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
Do you think he'd kick your ass?
Absolutely, he would. I don't live that kind of life.
Yeah.
I'm a little limp-wristed pansy compared to Washington and the way that he had to live. Absolutely, he would destroy me.
Yeah. I would fight my brother just one more time. Because I'm pretty sure I could take him now.
This time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now I know all that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, dude.
Yeah,
all right.
One more. We still have time. Maybe it'll happen, yeah.
Maybe the kid who kicked me in the stomach in 4th grade.
Okay.
Probably doesn't remember it at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Yeah. Best served cold, I would
Right.
say. No? You wouldn't fight anybody?
I don't know. I'm not big into fighting.
You're a lover.
Yeah, I mean, I'm competitive, but I'm more like the brains guy, less like,
Yeah.
like I've never felt like punching you or
But
stuff.
those are not mutually exclusive.
That is true.
I mean, you look at like the Greeks and the Romans, and they very much celebrated the warrior philosopher and the idea that you can be physically capable and dominant and see violence as something that can be used morally or immorally, and that you can also be intelligent and you can use your wit and your intelligence both morally and immorally, and it's not one or the other, but that they can often function synergistically with each other.
Maybe someone like Bruce Lee, like Kung Fu. Like, I was as a kid always impressed by those Shaolin monks and how they would, could have their mind dominate their body in the sense that they could just put like a pot of boiling water on their skin and just control that.
Right.
So I mean, I'd lose right away, but I'd just be like in awe about it.
Yeah.
Plus, you could say you fought Bruce Lee.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'm going to go for space travel on that one.
Space.
Because can you imagine what's down there? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any more idea what's in space.
Right, but I think it's a little more... Yeah, I guess so. But I was thinking, I've read I've seen cool documentaries of, stuff that's, 20,000 feet below the sea, and it's, some nasty shit down there.
Right.
But, in space, you just don't know, so you're kind of open. You're hopeful.
Well, I think part of it, too, is that it's less scary if it's out there versus just, right down there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no concept, too, of, what out there is.
Exactly.
Yeah, space, definitely.
So would you go if somehow you were selected, so you could bring your family or the people closest to you, and you were selected to go to Mars or somewhere else to start colonizing, but you couldn't come back? Would you go?
Ooh.
No.
Probably not.
No?
I don't think so. I think there's a team already being put together or applicants already in the works for people who are the first people going to go to Mars.
But it's also, I think,
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, you can take risks and stuff, but at the same time, I enjoy life,
Me too.
I'm not hey, this is so shitty here, I need to kind of get out, I need to leave and go, to the US because I'm religiously, no, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to direct this one toward Tanner.
Quietly and brutally.
Are you one of those, survivalists?
I'm not-
Has
I'm not
a
a huge-
basement full of canned goods and ammunition and all that stuff?
From your perspective, probably. From actual prepper perspective, not even remotely. Yeah.
Would you be more of a loner, or would you want to find a tribe?
Definitely find a tribe. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily think that you had to try to recreate Western civilization as we know it in order to get back to being happy. but I would definitely want to have a group of people with a system in place where you could thrive, not just survive, but thrive in that situation. I think the only way to do that is if you have other people with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched enough Walking Dead that I'm like pretty ready.
That and your BJJ skills, and you're ready.
I'm not saying I want it to happen, but it's,
You can handle it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be totally unprepared, you know.
Yeah.
We had a neighbor, and he grew up in Africa, and he always had, like, you know, drinking water supplies and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's not me. It's not going to happen. I'd be dead pretty quickly.
But impeccably dressed.
There you go.
That's right.
You'd be a great-looking zombie.
It's like the guys in the Titanic, you know, they know they're going down, but they play the music.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would be me.
I'm in the same boat as you. Definitely find a tribe, and then find my place within that tribe, like whatever my strengths might be. Just helping people dress better.
Yeah, the tailor.
The usual.
Helping survivors have more effortless style.
Right, exactly.
A very lean wardrobe.
It's very important.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I want to go. I think part of it for me is because I have a legacy within my own family. Not like that there's a family dynasty or anything else like that, but I see myself as just one kind of link within the chain, and then it's my obligation to continue to pass that on down through my own kids. And at the same time, I still want to be, I guess patriarch's kind of the best word for it. Like, I would like to be remembered as a patriarch within my own impact, within my lineage, within my family. Yeah.
I'd like to be remembered as someone, you know, who helped people be more stylish and get more classic style on the planet. That would be awesome.
I'll do the gravestone one. I think I would probably put something like be happy, or, you know, don't be sad, or at least just something to help anybody who was sad about me not being there, just not feel sad anymore, you know? Because I think, you know, when you leave, no matter what you believe, if you leave, you're not going to be sad, right? But the people who are still around are. So I probably just want to make sure that, you know, no one was sad that I was gone, so had fond memories rather than sad feelings.
We kind of selfish on this one. I want to be the guy who is the beginning of the chain of like generational wealth for my family. So I think that would be really cool to say, like, oh, my family is set, and so are their kids, and hopefully their grandkids. Nice. Be that guy.
Well, your name is Barraon, so
That's a good start.
Got a head start.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn more, you can go to orderlyman.net.
Yeah, orderlyman.net. No, but really, guys, if this is something that you enjoyed seeing, leave comments below, and maybe we'll do something like this again. We'll be happy to answer questions you guys ask of us, and I don't know.
Yeah, we could even do a live session, have chat questions and whatnot.
Yeah. Next time we'll do it live for sure.
We can make some great content, bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sign off. Later.
I guess.
Cool.